And hello everyone, it's time for another flashlight review. And many years ago when I first started collecting flashlights, I did get a couple of flashlights from the folks at Eagletac. And they also made very fine lithium batteries as well. Now, I'm not sure what's happened over the years because it's been a long time since I've had one of their lights, and now they seem to have dropped the LE from their name, and they just call themselves Eagtac. I don't know why. I haven't heard an explanation for this from anyone, but be that as it may, they're now known as Eagtac with the same emblem that they've always had. It is the same company, I imagine. But anyway, here we have a new flashlight from the folks at Eagtac, and this is a DX3B Mini-Pro. There are about 4 different versions of this light supposedly available, and they come in different LED types, is what it basically is. But there's also, in addition to the Mini-Pro, there's also just a plain Mini. But the different LEDs on this light will come in various forms, including an XHP50.2. Now this is a 50.2 in here, J4. And this doesn't have quite the beam throw or the output that one of the other lights does. Actually, I think output is pretty high. It is pretty close, but it's the beam throw that's different due to the type of LED. This is also neutral white, which was another choice that I made for this. Now, as you see here, it says 2310 LED and then 1700 ANSI FL1. So I think that's going to be closer to the actual output, what you see coming out of the light, rather than the 2310. And as I recall back to other Eagletac lights from way back, they always did list a higher output than what was actually coming out of the light. It wasn't severe, but it was usually noted. And this takes 2 different types of batteries, either an either an 18650 or an 18350. And it has 5 levels. Now I'll explain a couple of the idiosyncrasies to this light here in a couple of moments, of which there are a couple. I'm still basically going to recommend the light, but it comes with a couple of things that you may benefit from knowing. So anyway, the box here has lots of goodies inside. It actually has this removable piece here that I've already taken out. I couldn't remember how it went, but it kind of held everything in much neater than I have it right now. But what you have in this little packet is an extender, and this takes it from an 18350 light to an 18650 light, and that's kind of neat to have. The one thing is that the base of this flashlight is magnetic, but if you use the extender, in this case for the 18650, you lose the magnetic base. So that's just a standard base with no magnet. And there's the spring in the cap there. So I'll show you how that works in a second. You also have a packet here with a spare USB cover and a couple of O-rings and a lanyard. Here is a belt holster, very nice belt holster, which actually has 2 snap buttons on it, so it doesn't rely on Velcro, and that's pretty neat. They put the flashlight inside, as this is right here. Here's your little light. It is pretty small. Here's an 18650 battery, so you can see just as it is, it's not much bigger than the 18650. So it's pretty tiny, only between, only just over 3 inches long, and that's because at the moment it's using an 18350, of which they give you. So if you take off the cap here, it should already be inside the light, and there it is. It's their own Eagletac 18350. So that comes with it. And let's see. By the way, here's the USB, of course, because it is USB rechargeable. So there's your port there. And what else do we have in the box? A USB cable to charge it with, micro of course, and you also have an adapter for the wall plug, USB adapter. So that's not something you see in every rechargeable flashlight. And you can see this puts out 1A. So there's your adapter. And last but not least is the instruction manual. Now, one of the dumb things about the light, there are a couple of dumb things. One of them is that this manual almost does not seem like it belongs with this flashlight. DX3R, DX30, and PX30. Now they basically mention the light in here, and they call it a mini, but I don't know. There are a couple of things here which lead me to wonder if they have actually not given the correct manual with this light, or if they were fudging it and they didn't have an exact manual for the light and they were using this one because it's reasonably similar. Now I'm not sure about that, but anyway, that's what you get as far as the manual is concerned. And there are a couple of things in the manual. Oh yeah, you also get this warranty card. Forgot to mention that. 10 years limited warranty. So there are a couple of things here within the manual. First of all, it doesn't even tell you what the outputs are on what the lumens are, you know, what the outputs are on the modes. It doesn't mention it anywhere. It says what they are, and of course to cycle through them, it's max, very low, low, medium, and high. So there are your outputs. Now, as far as I can tell, there are no flashing modes. Well, there is one flashing mode, which I'll show you, and I'm not even sure. It's more like a beacon. But it does mention here that there are supposed to be auxiliary modes, and it says that right on the box. It says there are auxiliary modes, plus auxiliary, it says here. But the way it says to get to the auxiliary modes doesn't work, at least not in the light that I got. It says you're supposed to press and hold the switch. Pressing and holding the switch from the off position gives you the turbo output. So it says to get to the auxiliary modes, press and hold and leave your finger on it for more than 3 seconds. That's what it says right here. But that doesn't do anything. That only remains on turbo mode as long as you're, you know, as soon as you press and hold, turbo mode comes on and then it's locked in. So as long as your finger is still on the button, you're getting turbo mode, but that has nothing to do with auxiliary here. It doesn't do anything. So as I say, that's one crazy thing. And again, you see, even in these specifications, it doesn't list the LED. This is an XHP50.2. There is no XHP50 in these specifications, only XHP35, Nichia, and XPL. So that's what leads me to believe that they haven't actually given the correct, because here's a description of the small light in here, which is a DX30LC2MR, which is certainly not this one. Now there is a low battery indicator, and that actually comes on each time you turn the light on, or each time you change modes. So anyway, I've taken the cap off, as you saw. I've taken the 1830 battery out. Now here's the extender cap. So if I was to take an 18650 and put that in, it sticks out an awful lot, but the extender cap just goes over the bottom, and there you are. So that's turned an 18350 light into an 18650 light. Obviously this time it's closer to 5 inches long, over 4 inches. So anyway, here's your on-off switch, and as I mentioned before, here's the USB on the other side. And as you can see, you have your pocket clip here already attached, and it's also removable. And they say you can adjust, I guess you can't really turn the pocket clip around, but you can actually remove the head and remove the body and switch them in order to have the pocket clip switch to the other side, since the clip does, since when it's on the clip, you get your, the head is up. The lens is up, so if you want it the other way around, but you can actually put this in your pocket like this that way too. It'll actually go in your pocket like this because it just slips right down in here. So it can go that way without having to change things around, but when you do, it kind of makes it a little wonky. Well, it would be alright with an 18650 battery, but it's not okay with an 18350 to switch it around. Anyway, here's your LED, and this is a smooth reflector, and it's quite deep, so it does have reasonably good throw. The beam distance, by the way, is 165 yards or 180 meters on this particular LED. And as mentioned, of course, before, this is a neutral white. So the way to turn it on is to just give it a press, and basically, and as soon as you do that, did you notice that? I'll do that again. As soon as you press the button, you get the indicator to tell you what the battery power is. So I'll turn it on, and then you'll get 1, 2, 3, 4. So it just blinked 4 times, which means it's better than 80% charged. If it's 3 times, it's 50 to 80. If it's twice, it's 20 to 50, and 1 blink is less than 20%. So turning it on is just as simple as pressing the switch, and you should get the ultra low mode right away. To advance to the other modes, press and hold. There's low, there's medium, there's high, there's turbo. That should be the top one there. So if I press, oh no, it's going again. Okay, very low is what they call the first output. This kind of tricks me sometimes because I'm really not sure at first which output it's on. It's very low, low, medium, high, and maximum is what it should be. Okay, sometimes what it does is when you cycle through, just as I did there, and turn it on, you think you're in the very low mode, but you're not. You're in the low mode, and I have to keep clicking it on and off for it to reset back to the very low mode. So it's in very low now, as I think it was a few seconds ago, but then as soon as I started going through everything, it sort of reset, or not reset, but it came back on in low, and I thought it was very low. So right now we are in the very low mode. So again, press and hold. Now I'm in low, and now I'm in medium, and now I'm on high, and now I'm on turbo. But you see, there it goes again, because now I'm in turbo. And if I just give it one quick press, it'll turn right off. Now it doesn't really have a memory, but it does for a very short time. So if I click it again, I'll be back on in the highest turbo mode. But if you leave it off for, and I haven't even timed it, but if you leave it off for a couple of minutes, it resets back to the very low mode. But in the interim, turning it off and turning it on appears to keep it on maximum. Now it also has sort of a feature which appears to lock the button out, and that happens when I'm in the turbo mode. If you press it 3 times from the turbo mode, it should lock the side switch out. So if I go 1, 2, 3, like that, now I'm pressing the button and it will not come on. So that seems to be how you lock the side switch. 3 clicks from turbo and it's locked out. Now if I press and hold, it'll come back on again. And here it's come back on in turbo again. Now if I hold it while I click past turbo, I appear to be back. I think I'm back in the very low mode, but it's hard. Naturally, no, I'm back in low right now. This is not the very low, this is low. And this is where it's hard to figure out. Now if I press it a couple of times, like that, actually it's locked out again at this point. It has kind of a, if you haven't figured out already, it has kind of an odd user interface in that those 3 clicks, like 1, 2, 3, those 3 clicks, actually, yeah, so those 3 clicks lock it out from every mode. And there, when I pressed it, it doesn't come on, but there it flashed the battery at me again. It's not coming on, but it's flashing battery. Every second press is giving me the battery voltage, but the first press is doing nothing. So if I, 1, 2, 3, if I press it 3 times again, anyway, it's got kind of an odd interface in this particular instance, and it would really help if the manual would describe all these things, but the manual says nothing about locking it out or anything like that. Now, it does also kick down after about 3.5 minutes on turbo. It should click down to high at that point. So it does have an automatic step down. I mean, it's a nice flashlight. It does have a nice beam. It has a nice beam. There's nice width to the beam here. There's a nice color tint to it, and the memory seems to stay with it for a couple of minutes, but then after a while it seems to revert back. I mean, because that's what it's supposed to do when you click the switch quickly. It's supposed to be on the ultra low mode, and the highest mode is only accessed by pressing and holding from the off position. And again, since I've switched now to the extended tail cap, it's not magnetic anymore. Otherwise, with the smaller cap, it would stick to magnetic surfaces. Now, of course, the other part to that is they give you the 18350 battery, but you cannot charge the 18350 battery. You can only charge an 18650 battery. So they give you the 18350 along with the charging cable, but you can't charge that battery. You have to change batteries in order to charge the battery. So that seems kind of a little off as well. I tried charging the 18350, and theoretically I thought it might, because it's the same voltage and everything, but it does not appear to work. So the charging aspect is only usable with the larger battery, and of course with the extended cap on the back, and so therefore you lose your magnetic base. Those are the freaky things with the flashlight that I've noticed. Otherwise, it's a pretty nice light. Now, there is a link below where you can pick one up if you so desire. There is also a link to my written review where you'll see some pretty darn good outdoor beam shots. At the recording of this video, I have yet to publish my written review, so I want to get this video out soon. So if you're watching this video and there is no link below to my website, obviously I haven't put it up there yet, but when I do, I would urge you to look at the outdoor beam shots, because it is pretty impressive outside. And obviously if it's there, just click on it and have a look. And there's also a link in my written review to make a purchase of it. But I mean, it's a nice flashlight. It just has a couple of weird things going on with it. But this has been, despite what the manual says, this has been the Eagtac, the Eagtac DX3B Mini-Pro, which is pretty close to a 2000 lumen flashlight in a compact size. I mean, it's very nice, other than all those crazy things about it. So, hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions or comments, please let me know, and you can also check lightsandgear.com for more flashlights, batteries, chargers, and so forth. But thanks for watching this time around, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.